SutterHeyman.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios in the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, maybe I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome in. Happy Wednesday. This is the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. You turned me up, so now I got to turn myself down in my headphones. Rico. Happy Wednesday. 402-464-5685. The Honda Lincoln Hotline. The Starter Heyman text line. Both those open for you guys the entire show today. We have plenty to get to. But I want to make something very clear what Rico just said about a minute and a half before we went on the air. Do you want me to program? Nice. Keep talking.
Do you want me to put this into perspective at all?
No.
I think
we don't need any context.
I think I should give some context.
Go ahead. Give some
I think
context.
you should give some context.
I'll allow that.
I was playing a game on my phone, and Nick was like, what kind of game is that? I was like, it's a One Piece game. It's an anime. You wouldn't understand it. It's something I like. You don't have things that you like. He goes, yeah, you're right. I don't like stupid things. And I said, yeah, you're right. Everything you like is so great. You're so amazing. Nick's the greatest. All hail Nick. And he said, yeah, don't you ever forget it.
So then I tweeted it out. Nick_Sainert at Radio Rico AC. You can hit us up on Twitter or follow the ticket account for sure. If you are not doing that, follow all three of us on Twitter on Nick_Sainert at Radio Rico AC or at 93.7 The Ticket. Got a lot of stuff to talk about today. A little bit of MLB All-Star Game. Here's this. Chase B says, happy hour better keep up with the energy VJ had. We always have energy. It just depends on what topics we choose to channel our energy on.
Yep.
So there's a couple things we can talk about today. MLB All-Star Game is one of them. What were our reactions?
Great.
The mic'd up stuff, fantastic.
Jose Trevino is the GOAT.
A big fan of Jose. Big fan of Alek Manoah. So we'll get to those in a second.
We like Jose in this house.
That's true. This is our house, and we like Jose Trevino. So MLB All-Star Game, we'll kind of dissect that a little bit. Giancarlo wins the MVP, and then
he made the ball look like rubber.
He did.
He just destroyed it. He wasn't even looking at it. You know, they say you have to watch the ball into the barrel of your bat. If you see that picture, his eyes are not on the ball.
It is. You're right.
But not looking.
There's a thing, where it's like, when you're a baseball or softball player, your eyes are at the contact point. Giancarlo doesn't need that. So Giancarlo and Aaron Judge were actually mic'd up at one point together.
Yep.
When Judge was in right field and Giancarlo was in left, and it was cool to hear them talking about it. Obviously, Giancarlo grew up in LA, grew up going to Dodgers games, things like that.
Mike.
Yeah, Mike. That's right, Mike Stanton. Anyway. So that was great. Julio Rodriguez was mic'd up. Liam Hendricks was mic'd up. So we'll dive into that. Rob Manfred continues to be an idiot and proves that he may be the worst commissioner in all of professional sport.
Rob Manfred says he likes baseball, but there's no way in hell he likes baseball.
No way. So he
Zero ways.
said a couple stupid comments yesterday talking about some minor league players. Obviously, it's a big kick right now and has been for the last year or so, making sure that minor leaguers are not only compensated, but also have places to stay, whether that's host families, whether that's hotels, trying to just make sure that they can actually live on their own while being a minor league player in a system. So we'll kind of dive into that a little bit. And then at some point during the show, I don't know about you, Rico, but scrolling through Twitter yesterday,
media bad.
The only thing that I saw, a big topic yesterday, obviously, and we talked about just a little bit on the show yesterday, was obviously position coaches not going to be able to talk to the media this year. Not going to talk. The media is not going to be able to talk to the position coaches once fall camp is over and the actual season begins. And that somehow turned into this huge thing about how the media is complaining about the lack of access and everything like that. Now, before we get this big old rush of text on the text line, I want to look at that from both sides. from the media and fan perspective, and then also from a program perspective. Because there are a couple interesting angles that if you are Scott Frost, you are Trev Alberts, and a leader of this program, this is promising. This is a promising move. So we'll kind of dive into that. Rico, I'll ask you, which one do you want to talk about first? Because we can do Rob Manfred first, Rob Manfred All-Star game, or we can talk about the whole situation yesterday on Twitter.
Oh, that's a hard one. Let's go Rob Manfred and MLB. We'll get the situation on Twitter in the second segment. We can go a little bit longer with that one.
Perfect. All right, so All-Star game reaction. Obviously,
Jerseys, great.
Jerseys, good.
Great.
However, they looked fresh. They were clean.
Mm-hmm.
The jerseys were clean. So I'm curious though, why we ever had to get rid of players wearing their jerseys.
Because
do you have an answer?
Yes.
Okay.
More sales.
Money.
Yep.
Okay. So Manfred yesterday praised Nike when he was asked about the jerseys, because he was actually asked about this.
Weird.
About, why did we ever have to stop wearing team jerseys, right? And Manfred, praising Nike, said, quote, "I never thought that baseball jerseys in a game was a particularly appealing look for us." What are you saying? Quote, "I never thought that a different baseball jersey in a game was a particularly appealing look for us."
I mean, they're all this.
Number one, they're all the same.
Yeah.
You keep switching it up every year. This was the first year that they actually hit a home run with the jerseys.
They actually looked good.
They actually looked really clean.
And you know why they look good? Is because they were similar to the regular jerseys, where the font was the same as it would be on your home or away jersey. And it was simple. It was either white or gray with gold lettering.
Yeah, like
simple.
It is unreal. He doesn't understand anything that's going on. So that's the jerseys part. However, here let's talk about Rob Manfred a little bit in depth here. So Hannah Kaiser of Yahoo Sports asked Rob Manfred yesterday if owners don't pay minor leaguers a living wage because they can't afford it or because they aren't interested in doing so. Rob Manfred replied, quote, "I reject the premise that they're not paid a living wage." Has no clue. He has no idea how much these guys are getting paid. All right.
Not an idea.
So then I did some research on my own here, and it's
something Rob should do.
I found an article from the Washington Post in April of 2022. And in this article, it says, quote, "Annual salaries for minor league baseball players range between $4,800 at rookie ball to about $14,000 at the AAA level." And that's just during the season.
That's not
they don't get paid outside of the season. When you're in the minor league system, you don't get paid. Number one, you have to pay for your own training. You have to do all that. You hope for an invite to spring training, that then they take care of stuff for you. They take care of the travel to get there when you have an invite, because it's involving the big league cup.
Yep.
But when you are just playing, it's $14,000 at the AAA level, at the highest level.
You have to get another job.
Exactly. So
you have to.
Part of that, what's interesting is everybody just then backs up with, well, these guys get giant signing bonuses and everything like that. And that's true for the guys that are drafted in the first, 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah.
And a lot of those guys flame out eventually. Like the hit rate on major league guys,
it's not very high.
I mean, gee whiz, there'll be first round picks that don't ever make it to the league. Like that's just the truth of baseball. I don't know, Rico. You probably haven't. That was close. You probably haven't seen the first episode of The Captain, the documentary.
I didn't watch it yesterday.
Okay, so I watched it last night. Highly recommend. So they've only released one of the episodes.
I think it's a weekly thing.
Yeah, it's fantastic. First of all, it was a great episode last night.
ESPN, like you have to, or what was it on?
So it was on ESPN after the home run derby, but I recorded it.
I think it's like ESPN. I think you can watch it on there. Like
it's probably on ESPN Plus,
whatever the heck it is.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Anyway, it's also on Hulu.
There. Okay, that's what I was.
So it's also on Hulu.
Okay.
Anyway, they released the first episode, watched it last night, and it talked about how Derek Jeter struggled tremendously in his first couple years in the minor leagues. He talked about how Derek Jeter struggled so much in rookie ball his first season in the pros, or in the minor league system, I should say, that when he got invited to go to the single A club, because they only invited him so that they could get more games in to see if he wouldn't flame out, because it was the jury was out on him right there. And it was whether or not he was going to actually be able to make this baseball thing work. So they invited him to the single A club because the single A's team, or their games lasted longer, their season lasted longer than the rookie ball. So once rookie ball got done, they invited him to single A, and he said, I remember bawling my eyes out because I didn't want to go. He goes, I didn't want to go to single A. He goes, I wanted to go home. It was this remarkable story about how Derek Jeter, he's like, I was questioning baseball. I didn't want to go play for single A because I didn't want to be here anymore. I was making 56 errors. He made 56 errors in his first season in minor league baseball.
Jeez.
You know how hard it is to make 56 errors? It's extremely difficult. I mean, it's not difficult, but it's crazy.
That shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
no
way.
That just shouldn't happen.
Not to the sixth overall pick in the draft.
Such a high level pick, such a high level player. You wouldn't expect that.
Yeah. So anyway, great documentary. Like I said, episode 1 was released the other night on Monday night, I believe. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's really interesting.
That's something that a lot of people wouldn't really think of or consider. Like, if an athlete is struggling at doing something that they've done their whole life, or something that they
didn't want to do
believe that they were good at, and other people believe that they were good at, and they're struggling to that high of a level, and somebody says, okay, we want to see more, like, and you're used to performing at a level that,
You've
got
never
you to
struggled
where you
before.
are, and you, for some reason, can't figure it out. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to continue doing this. I want to figure out what's wrong. I just want to take a break. I don't want to keep making a fool of myself.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that I guess I never thought of. I don't know about anybody else, but that's something I never thought of is if you're struggling at such a high level, it's something that you've done for your entire life and never had struggles like this, how big of a mental toll that would take on you.
Absolutely.
Especially if somebody says, okay, we know you're struggling, but we want to see more.
So in this first episode of Mississippi Mud Dog, 402-464-5685, Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. Also view us on the video stream, also sponsored by Starter Heyman, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Mississippi Mud Dog asks, will you watch the Machines documentary when they make one about Albert after he's done? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I eat up these baseball documentaries. Like, I absolutely do, because I'm not the biggest fan of Derek Jeter. But here's the thing, like on the first episode, when I was watching it last night, they walk through Steinbrenner's suspension and how if Steinbrenner wouldn't have been suspended in the mid-90s, then they would have never drafted Derek Jeter, because the way that Steinbrenner went about his business was that he wanted to sign all these high-level players, and that's how they would win a championship. While the guy that took over for him wanted to develop guys, wanted to get younger guys, and that's why they got the players like Jorge Posada and Andy Pettit,
Mariano Rivera.
Exactly, like that's why those guys are even there, is because Steinbrenner got suspended in the mid-90s for hanging out with that gambler or whatever, and now they got to actually develop guys from their minor league system.
Imagine the Yankees not having Jorge Mariano, Andy Pettit, Derek Jeter.
And Derek Jeter.
Like, what?
It's not the Yankees. It's not the Yankees. Like, it's the same thing as, so the Astros had a scout. It was fascinating last night because I mean, obviously I'm still learning all this stuff. And the scout for the Houston Astros during that time in the draft, the year that Derek Jeter got drafted, the scout for the Houston Astros, who had the number 1 overall pick, was longtime pitcher Hal Newhouser. And he was on record saying, listen, if I can't convince the Astros to draft a guy like Derek Jeter number 1 overall, then I can't convince anybody of anything. That's how solid of a prospect Derek Jeter was coming out of high school.
56 errors.
He ended up, so then they ended up not drafting him.
Yep.
Number 1 overall, obviously. The Houston Astros decided to pass up on Derek Jeter. And Hal Newhouser quit on the spot. He quit. He stopped being a scout. He's like, it's not worth it. If I can't convince you that I can draft Derek Jeter, that you guys should draft Derek Jeter number 1 overall, I'm never going to be able to convince you guys of anything. And it was truly remarkable to hear about these stories, because then
that's
obviously the Astros passed up on him, and then the Reds passed up on him at number 5, and then the Yankees took him at number 6 overall. And it's just crazy to think about, because the first 5, because Derek Jeter talks about in this first episode how he goes, I got a call from one of the guys that was working at the Kalamazoo, which is the hometown for Derek Jeter, Kalamazoo Gazette, and he's like, all right, the first 5 picks have already been picked. And Jeter was like, yo, I was told that I was supposed to go either number 1 overall or number 5. And now he's like, I'm a high school kid that just graduated and don't know anything about what's going on. And so it's crazy to think about. It's crazy to see kind of how everything kind of plays out. And that's not even close to the whole episode, but I truly recommend you guys should go watch the episode. It's truly remarkable.
I just wanted to look up the 5 that were picked before Derek Jeter. I know one of them.
Go ahead and read them off.
Phil Nevin.
Okay.
Number 1 overall. I'm pretty sure I've heard of Phil Nevin. Paul Shuey, number 2. Billy Wallace, number 3. Jeffrey Hammonds, number 4. And Chad Modela, number 5.
Then Derek Jeter.
And then Derek Jeter.
So I won't spoil the rest of the episode. I know I've talked about it kind of in depth already.
No, it's fine.
But I also don't like, guy goes, hey, thanks for spoiling the episode, jerk.
Well, considering that it's,
that's
everything
all kind
that's
of
already
public.
happened.
That's kind of stuff that I figured. I mean, everybody kind of knew that Derek Jeter was picked 6th overall, and obviously you didn't know the minor league stuff maybe, but everybody knew that Steinbrenner was suspended, and it goes much more in depth about his time in the minor league system and suiting up for the Yankees. He was not on the active roster when they interviewed Don Mattingly. They have Don Mattingly there. It's really, really something. I truly encourage you guys to go check it out. Even if you're not a Yankees fan, I was watching it with one of my buddies last night who's a Red Sox fan, diehard Red Sox fan. And he's like, I hate Derek Jeter, but this is actually pretty fascinating. So talks about his family and all that good stuff and what they had to go through growing up. So back to this Rob Manfred stuff. So single or rookie ball levels, $4,800 salaries. AAA, $14,000 salaries. And once again, Rob Manfred replied, I reject the premise that they're not being paid a living wage, referring to minor league guys. So in this Washington Post article, it was actually an opinion article written by an anonymous minor leaguer who was a minor leaguer at the time, but still just wrote this opinion article. And says that they remember their teammates skipping breakfast for a week just to make rent as a professional baseball player, or 7 guys sharing a 2-bedroom apartment just to get by and save money. Listen, think about this. You are a professional athlete and you have to either skip breakfast for a week to make rent or share a 2-bedroom apartment
with 6 other guys,
with 6 other dudes, 7 total, just to have enough money to pay for rent.
That is crazy.
And once again, if you're not drafted in the top couple rounds, you're not getting a hefty signing bonus.
No.
So it's pretty remarkable to think about. And just Rob Manfred, the Major League Baseball made, I believe, I read $10.7 billion in revenue last year. And Rob Manfred gets paid anywhere between $10 and $11 million per year to be commissioner of Major League Baseball. It's truly mind-boggling how he just has no idea of what's going on.
It's almost as if he
no
doesn't
clue.
Pay attention to the sport that he is in charge of or any of the players that he is supposed to be taking care of.
Yeah, it's truly
so strange.
Yeah, it's insane. All right, let's go ahead and get to the players mic'd up because we'll go over a little bit of time here.
Okay.
So last night, players were mic'd up in the All-Star game, and we always talk about whether miking up players or athletes in whatever sport or celebrations, if it makes the game better to watch, if it makes the product better.
Spoiler alert, it does.
Last night, it definitely did. So sometimes, when they try to mic these guys up, it can be hard to hear. Sometimes also the play-by-play broadcasters and the color guys, they try to make it too serious.
Yeah.
When in reality, nowadays, it doesn't have to be serious.
Have fun with it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a hard-nosed, cold interview where it's this question, then backed up with this question, this question. It's
question, answer,
just be
question,
chill.
Answer.
You can just be chill about it and give credit to the guys last night. John Smoltz is one of them because they kept it light. Jose Trevino stole the show last night. And here's one of Jose talking. I guess, Rico, you can just play them all. But here's Jose Trevino talking to his pitcher about what pitches that he wants to call because they were both mic'd up at the same time.
What do you want, man? What do you want?
Let's go cut her in.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
Get her away.
All right. Get there.
Yes, sir. You want this ball? Yeah.
Saving that ball. You got to get that for the trophy case. Huh, Esther?
Why not? Why not?
So that's the stuff that you don't get to hear like normally. And those conversations, and obviously this isn't going to happen probably in a real game.
It could. Me and DP were talking.
It
Like
could,
you could
though.
just, you don't have to do it every game. Just do it once a week. The game of the week.
Mhm.
You know, your was it Monday night baseball, whatever, Sunday night baseball. I don't
Yeah.
know which night baseball. I don't pay attention to that thing anymore. But whatever the biggest game of the week is, just throw it in there. Pick 2-3 players to mic up, 2 from each
Mhm.
team.
Yeah.
Mic them up. Have fun with it.
Yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is like, so those conversations, you heard it was like, what do you want? Cut her in, and then they throw a pitch, and then you hear that communication that normally that happens with obviously signs, right? The catcher will give signs, or whether it's fingers or whether it's body signs. He'll give signs of location and pitch and everything. But it was kind of cool for one batter last night to hear, hey, where do you want this? And then then Nestor Cortez being like, heat her away. And he's like, all right, get it there. That capability that we have now for a sport like baseball, they have a great opportunity to use it to really magnify the sport. Similar with celebrations, right? And I don't want to have this conversation again necessarily of how celebrations can magnify the sport and make people maybe more interested in it, because you'd be engaging a little bit of a younger audience. But in that situation, you can't tell me that that's not super interesting to hear the conversations going on between a catcher and a pitcher, even if it's just, hey, fastball in. What do you want here? Cut her away. Heat her away. All right. Then it's,
What was it? Cutter. The strikeout pitch was like cutter up and in.
yeah, exactly. And so like, here's another one of Jose.
Is that bat?
Let's do
Or do you want
Let's
to
do
John Smoltz?
Let's do Alek Manoah talking to John Smoltz and being like, hey, let's do this. So here's Alek Manoah here. Once he was talking to the broadcasters, he was getting ready to possibly strike out the side, and here's how it sounded.
You're going to strike out the side in the All-Star game?
What do you want me to do it on, though?
John?
John, what do you want?
Back foot slider, down and low.
Oh, you're sexy. Here we go. No. Yeah.
No.
I
that was
blame
a front foot
Smoltz.
slider. My bad.
So
That's on Smoltzy. It was back foot. I mean, you executed it.
So Alek Manoah actually ended up hitting Dansby Swanson on that at bat. But the ability, though, like in this kind of game, the All-Star game, obviously, to be able to be like, hey, John Smoltz, who's one of the best pitchers in Braves history.
Hall of Famer.
Exactly. Go, hey, Smoltzy, what do you want me to throw here? Backdoor slider. Then you hear Manoah go, all right, no, he shakes off a sign, and then he finally gets the sign from his catcher for a back foot slider, and he's like, all right, let's do it. Let's hit it. And he ended up hitting Dansby Swanson. But like that's stuff that makes the game interesting. Like I'm listening because those are awesome conversations to hear, and the communication between teammates.
Mm-hmm.
So here, just play a couple more here, Rico. Let us know what you got before you play.
Let's go. Alek Manoah guessing the pitch.
What do you think Kirky calls here? I think he calls a front hip sinker. Let's see how close I am. All right, I was wrong. Oh, there it is. Second option. There we go. There's two.
He caught it.
Pretty good. 2 up, 2 down, and a couple Ks.
It was more like front shoulder, not front hip.
So if you're watching it, obviously you can't see it on when you're listening on the radio, but if you were watching the game, I mean, Manoah completely mislocates it. That's the greatest part about it, is where you get to hear these conversations of, all right, front hip slider or front hip sinker, I guess. And he mislocated, and then it ended up being front shoulder instead, but he still got the strikeout. Like those are things where the catcher set up in the right position where he was supposed to locate it. Alek completely misses his spot, but still figures out a way to get the job done.
Works out.
So, all right, keep it rolling here. We got a couple
All
more.
right, Liam Hendricks yelling at Julio Rodriguez.
Hello, Liam.
How we doing, guys?
Appreciate you
Actually
doing
hear
this
you
for
there
us.
this time.
Yeah, fun, right?
Nice little change.
Just getting one out here. You gonna go 1+, try to finish this game. What's the plan?
Yeah, if I can't do that for the White Sox right now, I don't think I can do it.
Fly to center field.
Yes!
Julio's got it.
Come on!
There you go, Liam.
Don't throw the ball away! Julio! Julio! Give me the ball! Give me the ball! I need to keep it.
Like, tell me that does not make it interesting in an all-star game. Keep it rolling.
All right, has Jose Trevino's at bat.
This is
Y'all
the
can keep
best.
talking to me. I don't mind. We'll be all right. Wow. I can't believe I'm an all-star, man. This is unreal.
If somebody had told you that you would be doing this, you would have said what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. There it is. Yes.
Thing moves a lot, huh?
That thing is nasty. Yeah, Travis, I didn't see it. Throw it again. I didn't see it. Get it, let's go.
Hey, run, Jose.
I need that ball, man. That's my first all-star here right there.
I think they think you should have gotten two, Jose.
Yeah. Yeah, please. I'll take it, man. This is unreal. Thanks. Thanks, Crony. Am I stealing here?
No chance.
Okay. We don't want that. What's up, babe? Congratulations, bro. Run? They want me to run. These dudes want me to run.
Do it. It's good TV.
Nah, Travis is looking at me. You're going to pick me off, man. You can't pick me off. I got family and stuff watching.
So obviously Travis, the guy he's talking about, Travis d'Arnaud, the NL catcher who was in the game at the time. But like that's the stuff that you get to hear. That's awesome. And shout out to Jose Trevino because
Stole the show.
Stole the show, number one. Number two, congratulates everybody that he talks to. I think he's a first-time All-Star.
That was his first time. Yeah.
Yeah, it's his first time, and he's just acting like he's been there before. So it was a great evening. I thought the product was just fine.
Like I said earlier, he wasn't even supposed to be the starting catcher this year.
Exactly.
He was in AAA. They traded away Gary. Then they brought him up. He was the backup to Higashioka. Higashioka ends up getting hurt or is just struggling. Jose steps up and just takes the job. Just his.
So like here's my thought, and I don't know what you and DP talked about. I know there was a lot of instances maybe where it could work again. The first one that instantly came to my mind is if you are in the postseason, for example, and Garrett Cole just pitched Game 4 of the ALCS in the postseason, and Nestor Cortez is on the mound right now. Why don't you mic up Garrett Cole? He's just chilling in the dugout anyway.
Yep.
Like things like this to where those guys would be able to analyze the game from a perspective that not even the broadcasters, whether it's John Smoltz or whether it's whoever's calling it now that Joe Buck's no longer on Fox, Joe Davis. It's like if you that we have the capability, so you might as well use it and increase the product.
And like you said earlier, they did a really good job of not making it serious, just having fun. I mean, he gets the hit and he's like, "Run, Jose!" Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's
like,
hilarious.
It never 10 years ago, you would never hear that.
I think they wanted you to get two. And
Yeah.
he's like, "Should I run?"
Should I run?
We're like, "Yeah, it's good TV."
Yeah, like just embrace it. And shout out to Fox, I guess, for figuring out a way to get that done last night. But it really added an element to the game where it worked out really, really well last night. And it's something that maybe we can work on going forward. All right, let's take a timeout. We're running quite a bit late. But let's take a timeout. We'll talk about the local media when we come back. Is the media bad? Husker position coach is not going to be talking to us during the season. What's your guys' reaction on it? I know there's been a lot of reaction and fights and arguments on Twitter. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. 402-464-5685. We'll be right back on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric ensures our home and office HVAC systems run smoothly throughout the year to provide maximum comfort and convenience. Routine maintenance reduced our operating costs just by improving the efficiency of our unit. Consider a maintenance agreement to ensure you too receive priority for services and scheduling. This helps meet manufacturer warranty requirements. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
At first, I was really nervous and intimidated to buy a ring. I wasn't sure what I was getting into.
My experience at Starter Heyman was very easy. I felt like I walked out of Starter Heyman with the ring that was going to make her go wow and say yes.
I love my ring. It is so beautiful.
I absolutely love my ring. I get compliments on it all the time. I always tell them Starter Heyman.
Yeah, we would definitely recommend Starter Heyman.
Yeah, it was great.
We're definitely coming back. Sure. Sauter Heyman Jewelers, Lincoln and Grand Island. SauterHeyman.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more, or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
In today's day and age, people are trying to do more and more projects by themselves. That might be better on the wallet, but it can also lead to painful sounds like this. Ow! Poor guy, trying to do wiring all by himself. Let's have another listen. It's just not worth it. Don't hurt yourself or make things worse than they are already. For any of your electric needs, call Joe at Ambition Electric today at 402-217-3415 or go to ambitionelectric.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is under new management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Now through July 20th, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, and feel spectacular in the judgment-free zone with the most energy you've had since
kindergarten when we had daily naps.
Exactly. And in our clean and spacious clubs with tons of equipment, you'll feel confident. Like after
I've carried in all the groceries in one trip.
More like, wait, that's exactly what it feels like. Join at planetfitness.com or in club. $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Hurry. Deal ends July 20th. See club for details.
Get a lot of advice about self-care these days, but one of the most important self-care steps we can take is making sure we're financially secure later in life. For small steps you can take to save for retirement, visit WeSaySaveIt.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
You're listening to The Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary, sponsored by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back into the Happy Hour, 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. We're going to have to take a break in the middle of this segment, so we'll make this conversation a two-segmenter, if you want to call it that.
Whatever.
402-464-5685. Really want your guys' participation on this. You guys have been great all day, especially with the Major League Baseball discussion.
It's actually really good.
So once again, 402-464-5685. We got a couple of these here. it was announced yesterday. I briefly spoke about it when I was telling you guys the fall practice schedule. Practice will be open to the media 20 to 30 minutes at the start of practice on August 1st and August 10th, just those 2 days, and just for 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then other than that, once the season begins, no position coaches will talk to the media during the season. And it kind of caused an uproar on Twitter. So Mr. Unlimited starts us off with this. The coaches probably won't talk to media because you guys just chop it up and take it out of context, which then hurts the transparency. Corey and Link, easier.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Corey and Lincoln then goes, could you guys enlighten me to as who in the media was complaining about this? I didn't see it on my timeline. The way that Sip and Jake were talking trash this morning leads me to believe it couldn't have been any major media member, just some podcaster popping off or what.
We're not going to name any names.
We're not going to, because frankly, I didn't see anybody like complaining about this necessarily.
I saw
more
couple
so
people just saying like,
what the
weird.
repercussions could be.
It's kind of weird to not do this, and that I saw one person who got some information from a Nebraska. I don't know the word that he used. It's somebody within the Nebraska program that let him know that they're doing this, so that the coaches don't have to worry about talking to the media after practice, and because it aligns with what a lot of other Power 5 and Big Ten schools do. And I saw some media members talking about, okay, why are we just doing what everybody else does? Why don't we stick to just doing what Nebraska does? And, all of that kind of stuff. But I didn't really see anybody complaining about, oh, we can't talk to the assistant coaches anymore. Like, this is dumb. Like, they were just like, okay, this is weird. Like, I don't understand why they've decided to change this all of a sudden.
No, I don't know honestly where Rico stands on this, but like, I'll be honest, I don't even know what my true opinion is on this. And in all honesty, this probably won't even be a conversation in 2 months, but it caused kind of, like I said, an uproar on Twitter. So we figured let's talk about it. So the way I want to kind of navigate this conversation is I want to look at it from both sides, or from all three sides. If you want to,
it's
three sides, fan, media, and program perspectives. So from a program perspective, there's actually an interesting angle that you can take away from this decision. And we have to remember that technically the program doesn't owe us anything. The coaches don't owe us, like position coaches specifically, don't owe us their time once a week or for 15 minutes. They don't owe us anything.
Frost is the only one because it's in his contract.
Exactly. And in terms of press conferences, I may even argue that there's been a lot of access, because if you think about it, Frost talks 2 times a week. Last year, position coaches talked quite a bit. Once again, this is from a program perspective.
A lot of players,
multiple players talking each time or multiple times a week. And so from that standpoint, I can see maybe too much access. However, you have to remember, now this is from the media aspect or perspective, that we're getting to see August 1st and August 10th practice for the first 20 or 30 minutes. So with that in mind, for the whole entire season, this is why it's such a sticky situation, is because for the whole entire season, we're getting to see at max an hour of practice for the entire season to talk about these guys outside of what we see on Saturdays. And in the last couple years, when Nebraska has struggled, when the only way that we can, let's be real, Rico and I have talked about it extensively. We want to talk about good things. And there's a chance that in practice, there's a lot of good things happening. And the reason that we believe that is because Scott Frost has told us that there's a lot of good things happening in practice.
And so have the players.
And so
have the assistant coaches.
And so that's what we have to worry about, or that's what we have to take into account.
That's all we get to work with.
But here's the thing. From the program perspective, once again, as an added bonus, if this means that the position coaches are just going to be only focused on their job and don't have to worry about talking to the media once a week for 12 to 15 minutes or whatever. And this is and if you're on the video stream, you're seeing me put this in quotes, but a buttoning up the program type of move, then I commend them and I understand it. Like, because once again, it goes back to this whole thing of we're ready for Scott Frost to really take this thing by the horns, right? And really get out in front of this and be the head coach. And this would be another move of maybe Scott Frost, maybe Trev Alberts, maybe it was a collective decision. And whatever it is, if it's a buttoning up type of move, then there's understanding that goes along with that decision in my eyes. But once again, like I said, told you guys the plan for fall camp. We get to see the first 20 to 30 minutes on August 1st and August 10th, which isn't a whole lot of time. And once again, it's kind of sticky because you have to remember that they don't owe us anything. They don't owe us practice time. However, there is some line that we cross where it's, hey, the more access we get, the more coverage fans get.
Nebraska has allowed, and I can't speak to any other program in any other state or place. I can't speak to those because I don't know, but I do know that Nebraska has allowed a lot of access to media members in which to, use their own eyes and use their own judgment to then pass news and their thoughts onto the fan base, who then, take those stories and take what the media members say and form their own opinions.
Yeah.
Now, if the media members are allowed less access, then that means less of, their opinions or even some of the facts that they get passed along by some of those coaches to be passed along to the fan base. Exactly. And I understand how some people say they don't care about, the access that the media gets, but in that case, not thinking that the less access the media gets, the less stories with factual evidence that you are going to get from those media members, and you're just going to get, what everybody sees on Saturday.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a timeout. 402-464-5685. Want to hear your guys' thoughts. We got a couple. I'll get to on the text line. We'll be right back. Wrap up the happy hour on a Wednesday on 93.7 The Ticket.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the happy hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now through July 20th, join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $10 a month, and feel spectacular in the judgment-free zone with the most energy you've had since
kindergarten when we had daily naps.
Exactly. And in our clean and spacious clubs with tons of equipment, you'll feel confident. Like after
I've carried in all the groceries in one trip.
More like, wait, that's exactly what it feels like. Join at planetfitness.com or in club. $1 down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Hurry. Deal ends July 20th. See club for details.
New management, but has the same great service as before. If your current garage door seems outdated or isn't working properly, call their new number at 402-480-2840 to schedule service or get a new door ordered. Steve's can repair most types of garage doors and can always point you in the right direction to get the job done. Give Steve's Garage Doors and Services a call today at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round, and their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com. I present the fruitcake. Long the subject of jokes, ridicule, derision, but did the fruitcake accept its place in the culinary totem pole? No! The fruitcake sought to rise to its full potential at Beatrice Bakery. Premium nuts, high-quality fruits, and the delectable trio of brandy, bourbon, and rum. Grandma's fruitcake is no punchline, but a decadent treat that packs a punch of flavor.
Check out Grandma's fruitcake and all the delicious desserts at Beatrice Bakery. Welcome to our world of yum.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.58 per hour. And other select jobs is starting at $24.28 per hour, with wages growing up to $30.30 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealership, is searching for mechanics of all skill levels to grow with us. Landmark offers a competitive wage, full benefits package, along with paid time off within just 60 days of employment, as well as a 401k and a boot and clothing allowance. Interested in becoming a part of the Landmark difference? Apply now at landmarkimp.com/careers or contact Deanna 402-310-7561 or email careers@landmarkimp.com. That's landmarkimp.com. Landmark Implement is an equal opportunity employer.
Registration is now open for all fall sports leagues through Lincoln Parks and Rec. Adult volleyball, kickball, softball, and youth NFL flag football. Competitive and recreational leagues are available, so whether you're an athlete, a former athlete, or a wannabe athlete, there's a league for you. Plus, check out their paid opportunities for officials and referees. Contact Lincoln Parks and Rec to learn more, or head to teamsideline.com/LincolnNE before July 24th to register your team. That's teamsideline.com/LincolnNE.
Time for a new air conditioner? Bryant offers some of the most efficient available, up to 26 SEER. Call 467-1111 to schedule your free estimate or visit BryantLincoln.com.
Hey, you got any gum?
Yeah, check my backpack.
What's this?
Oh, that's naloxone. It can reverse an opioid overdose. I decided to always keep it on me after my friend almost died. It saved his life.
I'm so sorry. That makes me want to have it with me too.
You totally should. Check the pharmacy. It was actually really easy to get, and it's easy to use.
I definitely will. Thanks.
Paid for by the CDC. Sponsored by Nebraska DHHS. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary. Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Here's what Doug says on the text line. It will be bad for media and for coverage for the fans, but that's a good thing. We've been spoiled, and I think the players and coaches just need less of what they say being regurgitated and spun around by everyone in the state. Take a tiny bit of stress off of them on the Monday through Friday. Yeah, and Bill Bush actually made an interesting point yesterday, how he's like, listen, we'll get talked to on Sunday or on Saturday following the game, and there will be one little thing that we say that's not the same. We say one little thing differently and it gets spun out of control. But in reality, we haven't met. We haven't talked about the game. And so he's like, listen, if you would have asked us 24 hours later, then we're on the same page. But immediately following the game,
everybody has their
we're
own
not
thoughts.
on the same page.
They're human beings. Everybody has their
Yeah.
own thoughts of what happened and what went wrong and what went right.
And-
It
and-
makes sense. And look, for as much as I dislike the move, it makes sense.
It does.
It
From
makes
a-
sense
from a buttoning up
from a
standpoint.
program perspective, from a wanting to have, I've heard people say from wanting to have one voice or one combined voice in the room, in the football facilities. It makes sense. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I like more access. I like hearing from more people. And me saying more access, it's not like I was going to press conferences and getting the access and talking to the players and the coaches, whatever. But hearing, from those coaches, from those players, being able to put a face to a voice, and actually listening to what they have to say coming from their own mouths, even if you believe that a lot of it is coach speak and a lot of it is just regurgitated or practiced by some of them. Look, there's a kernel of truth in everything. So there are things that they say where you actually believe it, and there are things you say where you're like, okay, like everybody's saying the same thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But I want to hear more, and I enjoy reading the stories, regardless of how you feel about any media members. I enjoy reading the stories written by a lot of the people in Nebraska's media. So, with less of that, I'm not sure what things are going to look like, but I'm sure not much is going to change.
One other thing also is like what you get from the position coaches, you get to find out as a fan and even as a media member at certain points, it's like you get to hear about the cool stories. Like you guys kind of know from the Monday and Friday press conferences what kind of questions Frost gets asked and Coach Frost gets asked and things like that. But what you get from Travis Fisher are cool stories about Noah Pula-Gates. And what you get from Mickey Joseph would be cool stories about Oliver Martin and Brody Belt, about their recruiting stories. And like think back, you would have never gotten the Jamar Chase story if we didn't talk to Mickey Joseph about how he stayed on the phone with him for hours until signing day so that nobody else could call Jamar Chase. Like those are the stories that you get from the position coaches that as a head coach or a coordinator just doesn't know, because I mean, you guys know this. You guys are smart when it comes to Husker football. Position coaches spend a lot more time with their individual rooms than coordinators do. And so from like I said, the coverage perspective, the cool stories perspective, and also just knowing what guys are making moves in practices that we still might not see on Saturdays, but that are just a couple weeks away.
Like no matter how much everybody says, I just want to see it on Saturday, I just want to see them win.
Yeah.
In between those games, in between those Saturdays, it's interesting and it kind of, perks your ears up a little bit. But like who am I going to see this Saturday? Is anybody making a move? Is there a chance that I can see somebody, in those individual rooms? Maybe somebody makes a move on special teams and is going to get more playing time that way. Maybe somebody in the room is maybe somebody that you thought would make a big move at the start of the season starts making that move in the middle of the season. And you're not really going to get all of that from the coordinators and from the head coach. Maybe you get that from the position coach. I mean, maybe you do get it from the coordinators.
Maybe you will now. Maybe we will now.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what it's going to look like this year. Faisal 5 times on the text line says, I'm not really interested in what any of the coaches say this year. Just win. And maybe that's the mentality we have. But from a program perspective, if this is a buttoned up move, it's a show of that this thing is heading in the right direction. It shows that it's organized, whether it was, like I said, whether it was a Scott Frost decision, whether it was a Trev Alberts decision, or whether it was a collective decision altogether, it shows that they're unified, which from looking at the results the last 3 or 4 years, you can argue that maybe that hasn't been the case. Now, obviously it's all speculation, but you can argue that the results have not obviously panned out. So look at this, I guess, from a program perspective, that this thing is buttoned up, it's organized, and they're all moving together towards one common goal.
We'll see what happens.
That's all for today. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Don't go anywhere. The water cooler with Bach and Nate is next. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. See you later.
Adios.
Registration